people, this is CEO Monty with Blue Violet Productions LLC, and this is our second episode of our podcast, BVP with A&E, that's artists and entrepreneurs. We will host local artists who will discuss their craft and how their craft connects with the community and how our audience can preview their art. We will also host entrepreneurs, preferably new entrepreneurs, who will tell you about their business, how that business serves the community, and how you as an audience can support that business. We are super excited to talk a little bit of business with Miss Rhonda Powell today, President and CEO of Arlington Speakers Bureau, a business designed to draw upon the experience of our nation's finest, our veterans. Rhonda has served our nation in the United States Army Reserve for more than 20 years. As a combat veteran, as a legislative liaison, Rhonda has been advocating for veteran resources as both a soldier and a citizen. Rhonda, welcome to our show.
Well, hello, Monty, and thank you so much for having me today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Rhonda, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about the opportunity to just be sitting down with you having a podcast. So, as you mentioned, my name is Rhonda Powell. I was born in Alabama. I am from the great state of Alabama, and yes, we did have a rough football year, but it is okay. And I decided to join the military for adventure. I know a lot of people say that they wanted to go to the Army or to the military for school or for housing, but for me it really was the adventure. I was excited about leaving home and just going out and getting into the world. So the good news is I had an opportunity to graduate from Spencer High School because my stepdad was a tanker at Fort Benning. So I had an opportunity to know what the military life was like as a dependent. And so now that I had an opportunity to join myself and just live an amazing life through the ranks, it just brought me to a place where I felt like, you know what, I really do want to be my own business owner. And so I went to a conference of a young lady who was doing some amazing public speaking, and I just got really, really excited, and I decided that I wanted to just start my own public speaking bureau. And do you know that young lady, when we had a one-on-one coaching session, she actually had the nerve to ask me, do you even know what a speaking bureau is?
What?
Yes. So game on. So believe it or not, it's one thing to say that you want to start your business, but it is another thing to actually execute. So I started the business 5 years ago. So it's a bureau of one then, and it's a bureau of one now, which is why I am definitely on the pathway now to go ahead and start this new venture. Arlington Speakers Bureau is the business, and up under that umbrella is a really new and exciting, rewarding program that I've started called Network to Win. Now, Network to Win is an opportunity for me to connect with 1 million women veterans.
Wow.
That is near and dear to my heart. So it is January. I'm giving myself 1 year. And so I am on the podcast to be able to talk to you and introduce that new program that falls under Arlington Speakers Bureau.
Well, can you tell us a little more about the program, the new program, Network to Win? I like that name, by the way.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have seen a lot of these studies about women veterans, and they talk a lot about how we are isolated, and I am guilty of that. I definitely have chosen to not be in social media, and I think I can't really describe what makes us withdraw like that as women, but also the studies show that we don't identify as women. And I was working for one of the largest wartime veteran service organizations in the nation, and they had no program for women. So the benefits are there and the resources for the benefits are there, but there's no networking. So my goal in life is really to just connect and network with 1 million women veterans, because we're an awesome group. It's 2 million women veterans out here right now.
Wow, that's a lot. That's more than I thought.
Yes, and I get the honor of sitting talking right now with a woman veteran. And so, if I may I ask you, what made you decide to start your own business?
Well, I was approaching retirement, and I was walking down the corridor in the Pentagon, which was my last duty assignment, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? I said, when I retire, I'm still going to be relatively young, at least by my standards.
Amen.
And I said, so what am I going to do with my time? And I had this epiphany, and it basically said, do what you do. And I said, do what I do? That's right. Do what I do. I'm a public affairs officer. I started working on film in college and completed my first documentary in 2015 with the Army Reserve. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to pursue my passion, which is filmmaking. And I had a partner in crime, my brother, and we recruited a few other people, and we launched Blue Violet Productions LLC, and here we are today.
I am so proud of you, and I'm so
Thank you.
honored to be here actually actualizing our dreams on a podcast. So thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. This podcast is sponsored by Blue Violet Productions LLC. We create documentaries that entertain, enlighten, and inspire. Please visit our website at www.blue-violetproductions.com. So, with the network to win, I know that you've given yourself a year to reach out to 1 million women veterans. So, you're starting with the podcast. How are you going to achieve this goal?
I'm so glad you asked me that. There is this thing called the power of the internet, that area that I have been avoiding for my entire military career. So it's now time for me to transition out of social isolation into global integration. And I plan on bringing 1 million women veterans with me. And so how I'm going to do that is YouTube. I've decided that one of the best ways to chronicle our journeys as service members and as moms, teachers, sisters, friends is to actually document it on video. So I will be hosting a series of networking events under the umbrella of Arlington Speakers Bureau, whereby I will have speakers come in and speak to women veterans. The audience will only consist of women veterans, and they're going to get introduced in numerous ways on how they can begin to start telling their stories. Because right now, we all have a voice, but no one is hearing our voice.
You're so right about that. So how are you going to determine, what makes a good speaker? How do they qualify, so to speak, or what criteria are you looking for a good speaker?
So actually, I'm glad you asked me that question, because in today's society, you can go on any platform, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and everyone is sharing their story. So it's not a matter of how professional are you. I think that is honestly the bureaus of old. And so now we're in a time in modern society where everyone is using the power of the internet to just share their voice. And so a good speaker is someone who could capture their audience, they can resonate with their audience, and they can absolutely share experiences that the audience can identify with. So that is how I'm going to measure success of a good speaker.
That's great. That's great. So you said measure success. So how are you going to measure the success of the network to win?
So I am so glad you asked me that question. How I'm going to measure a network to win success is I will be able to log on to YouTube, and I will begin to see so many women veterans sharing their story on that platform that I'm just going to be able to kick my feet up and laugh out loud, because for me it's going to be victory. It's like it's happening. I actually see these women sharing their stories, sharing their lives, and then networking with other women veterans. Like I can just see all of us integrating in each other's lives, sharing our wins, sharing victories, sharing losses, but we're going to be networking and doing it together, and that will equal success for me.
Okay, now with the networking and doing it together, is the ultimate goal in networking, are we are you hoping that we'll somehow help one another?
Oh, we will absolutely help one another. So, for example, right now there are some women veterans who are entrepreneurs that are on Netflix series right now. I am so excited to see women veterans owning their own brokerage, starting their own real estate business. And so those are the things that we can come together to do to network. It will be nothing for 5 or 10 women veterans to have a shared vision and start their own brokerage company. I would love to see that, or start their own production company. And then when women veterans hire women veterans, I mean, we're just going to be giving the media a lot to talk about.
Well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Network to Win with Rhonda Powell. How can our audience support your business?
Well, believe it or not, you're doing it right now. So we're actually having a live networking session. So you're doing it by providing a platform where women veterans can come and talk about their art. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. How can our listeners connect with the Arlington Speakers Bureau?
Well, I would actually like for our listeners to connect with Network to Win. So they can just go to our website, and it's networktowin.co. And I want to make it clear that the Network to Win has the number 2. So it's network2win.co. Please send us an email, and we will be glad to respond and bring on women veterans into the network.
Fantastic. Rhonda, thank you for making the time to join our podcast and discuss Network to Win.
Yes, thank you for having me, and thank you for introducing the podcast to the world. And you're a woman veteran, so I salute you and say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. If you are interested in supporting Network to Win, please reach out to Rhonda at
networktowin.co.
We wish you success in all that you do to help care for our nation's finest, our veterans. As always, I welcome your feedback. You can reach me at info@blue-violetproductions.com. It's almost Friday, folks. Honor an entrepreneur this weekend by becoming their customer. Thank you.